All right, guys. Well, I'm back today discussing one of the absolute best high value and budget IR laser and light aiming devices on the market. And this one also happens to include a white light and green laser all in one complete module with a detachable pressure switch. What we are looking at is the VOTATU V848. And this thing is an all-encompassing aiming module that mounts up to pick rail or M-lock and has so much modularity you can use it with and without a pressure switch and users select at the top with ease. It's also magnetic recharging, an LED screen on the back that reads out battery life and what settings you're at, which is incredibly convenient, especially if you're in IR mode, and it all comes in at right at $100. Something like this from other manufacturers, especially some of the more premium manufacturers, would run well over $1,000, and I've been looking and asking companies across the board to make something like this, and VOTATU has continued to innovate and push the limits, and they come up with the V848 solution. Now, if you follow the channel, you'll know I've reviewed a ton of VOTATU products in the past, and they are one of my absolute favorite IR laser aiming devices on the market below generally $100. And I can't believe they packed all of that into this one particular module. On top of that, you know how we do at product launch, we have a discount code, and that will be in the description below to bring it well below $100, making this a very impressive option. A lot of times those codes are 5 to 10% off. At launch, this one is 15% off. But again, no matter what price you get this at with or without a code, if it's around $100, it is an insane deal, especially for all that you get. We're going to talk about the specs and features of this laser aiming module, everything that comes in the box, including the user manual, my history with VOTATU, and how it performed down at the range. I've got it mounted up to a 22 as well as a 300 blackout, and we put a ton of rounds through both of these setups. And on top of that, I probably have close to 4,000 to 5,000 rounds through other VOTATU lasers and lights, just as kind of a history with them to really check out their performance over time. Let's start off with the obvious. Why would you want something like this? And for me, there is no lighting situation in a low light defensive, tactical, or hunting environment where you couldn't use something on this particular module, whether you own NV or not. Without NV, the light on this guy is a 1700 lumen light output, so perfect for a full-size rifle to engage targets at an incredible distance. Now, when we are going through the modes, I will kind of show you guys what I'm talking about, and right now you can see that this is in the off position, but you can toggle it over to the visible light position. At this point, you can run the pressure switch. Oh, that's the visible laser. There's the light and laser, and then there is just the visible light. So you can either run the pressure switch that's included, and you can unplug that from the back, or you can run the pad on the module itself, which is incredibly convenient. Both of them are very easy to use. You've got temporary on with a long press, and then you can click it on, and that turns it on as a constant on. Now, this is really nice because on this particular light, you've got a really good center spot to throw the beam for a distance, but you also have a nice diffuse surrounding light. Now, that is incredibly nice, especially if you want to use this up close in a personal defense situation, or you're hunting varmint, hogs, or pigs, and you want to illuminate an entire field or just see what you're doing outside on a full-size rifle. You also notice that the LED screen will come on, tell you what you're on and your battery life right there, but it goes off after just a little bit, so it is not throwing a light signature, and that is incredibly convenient, especially when you switch over to something like the IR, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, they do have the light and laser built in the one. You won't be able to see it on camera, but at night, the light is balanced perfectly with the laser, so you can illuminate everything you're looking at, yet still pick up the laser, and then you toggle it over, and you have the very high-powered green laser on this guy. One of the brightest green lasers I've seen on kind of those civilian lasers, and it works out really well. Again, all of the controls are the same for the lasers, and the laser and light have a double click position where they will start to strobe. For me, I wouldn't really use that on the laser, but you can use that on the light if you wanted to double click it and go into a defensive strobe. So love the feature set, and everything is very intuitive. The pressure switch is also incredibly nice because it comes with the pick rail pad that you would mount on a monolithic pick rail, which is generally what I would use, but it also comes with an M-lock attachment in the package. Again, you are getting this all for $100 or sub $100 $100 if you're grabbing this at launch, which is an insane value. The other cool thing about this is you've got the IR laser aiming module, which can be detected under NV, and what you were looking at is the Psyonix MilSim NV in the intro of this video, which I can highly recommend, especially with its record feature. It works out amazing. The IR laser was incredibly easy to pick up, super bright, and through the IR light for a very incredible distance. A lot of times the IR lights can be really weak inside these modules, not VOTATU, but other budget ones. They just don't perform as well. This thing lights up an entire field under NV, and it works out incredibly well. And when you are in those settings, a lot of times other modules don't really explain what's going on, but right now it tells you you are in IR mode. It throws up that indicator so you know you are, and then it's going to drop that LCD screen, but it's still going to run a very, very faint red dot to let you know that your IR is on right now, because it is not detectable by the human eye. You can also cycle through everything like the IR light and laser at the same time, which again works incredibly well. You will throw that Illuminator still right there just so you can see, and then it'll also go to just the IR laser and then back to the off position, and it'll tell you the low battery indicator or what your battery life is. The other cool thing about this is it works with all of the other VOTATU chargers, so if you're building an ecosystem, this magnetic charging system works out great, and I love the fact that you can bring this into the field, and I always recommend people run power banks inside their plate carriers or chest rigs or budget battle belts. That way, while you're walking around in the evening, you can have that charged up through that power bank in your chest rig, but then if something goes bump in the night and you need to access it, boom, pop it off, click that button, and you are good to go. Now, I absolutely love the user interface of this system, and the module itself is actually reasonably small for everything you get in here. The other cool thing is a lot of people ask how I would sight in my IR laser without going out at night with NV. It is slave to the green laser. So you sight your green laser in during the day, and you don't even need to shoot. So if you've got your optic already sighted in, you can actually use the included Allen keys, and you'll hear the audible and tactile clicks inside the laser system itself. Listen to this. Those are so nice to have those audible and tactile clicks inside the adjustments, and it's not some fine flathead screw. It's an Allen key, and it tells you everything you need to know to sight everything in. You co-witness it with the optic. I did at the initial acquisition of both of these, co-witnessed them and ran a ton of rounds, and they never lost zero. In fact, none of my VOTATU lasers have ever lost zero, and the rifle-mounted ones have been holding up great. I've been utilizing them for years, and they include, again, everything you need in the package. If you wanted to remove the pick rail mount and mount this to M-LOK, there is those capabilities inside the package itself. Now, if you want more detailed specs and features over this entire package, again, all of this is available on Amazon, and thanks to VOTATU for sending this out. I've been asking companies to do this for a while, and it was super nice. As soon as they came out with it, they sent me one to review, no strings attached, although VOTATU always sponsors these videos. They send everything out. They really help out the channel, but I'm not going to pull any punches. It just happens to be really freaking awesome. Now, when you're looking at it right here, it's got a 2.5 hour charging time, and then it starts to give you the breakdowns of the specifications, including a 1 meter drop resistance and IPX6 waterproof rating. It also details out everything that is included in the box if you want to pause that and read that, and it goes over everything very nicely so you can understand exactly what is going on and how to swap out the pick rail to M-LOK adjustments. It also explains how to attach all of the pressure switches, the dial modes, and it also gives you an understanding of what you were looking at on the back and an overall explanation of the warranty with a 1-year warranty on the initial purchase. In summary, if you are looking for something that can practically do anything when it comes to low light situations, whether it's white light in a green laser without NV or IR laser and light with NV, this is going to absolutely knock it out of the park. VOTATU is one of those companies that pushes the limits of what can be done, and if you've ever thought about it, this is one of the absolute best modules you can possibly get. Now, right now, there's only 6 Amazon reviews, but it's got a whopping 5 stars. Not a single person has given it less than 5 stars, and if I could give it more than 5 stars, I absolutely would. When I've looked at other companies that are doing similar things but falling short of some of the specs and features, these guys are charging $500 to $600 for a module like this. Now, with that being said, would I run this over with a tank or go scuba diving with it? Well, no. Maybe some of those other $1,000 options are going to be IPX7 or IPX8 waterproof rated. But guys, this thing is a killer freaking deal, and you can outfit a ton of different options, including varmint blinkers like this guy right here in 22, or a really quiet setup like a Subsonic 300 Blackout, or even a varmint getter for longer distances like a 5.56. This thing is going to absolutely kill it. I fall in love with it. I think you will too. All of the linking and info will be in the description below, including that discount code, and all of those Amazon links are affiliate links. Meaning if you click on them, it helps out the channel at no extra cost to you, just brings you right to the deals. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are as pumped as I am about this particular device, I honestly think this is an absolute game changer. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.